Oh, hey, I was just rearranging my background so you don't get bored looking at the same old books all the time. I've put up some of my favorites here, some classic science fiction, some Ray Bradbury, Mars Attacks. Down here we have some Superman, Gene Wolfe, Preston and Childs. You all know their series, right? Yeah, so what are some of your favorite books then? Here's a book of horror stories. Hello again, boys and girls. I guess you know why I called you here today. It's because I have some Kiloware to share with you. This order came from Swan Philatelic Imports, a well-known dealer in Kiloware. I have dealt with him once before when I ordered 1 pound mixtures of Germany and Ireland, and that was some years back, and man, it took me forever to digest all those stamps. Before I continue, though, I'd like to thank HipStamp, the stamp marketplace, for sponsoring this episode. HipStamp's a great place to buy and sell stamps. They have stamps for all levels of collectors, from space fillers for mere pennies on up to the most expensive rarities. They have auctions closing every day, plus special no-reserve auction events, which you heard me talk about in the last episode. And if you are a seller, HipStamp has 4 store subscription levels to accommodate dealers of any size, starting at just $3 a month. For fixed price buy it now listings, there's never any listing fee. And the final value fees that you pay on sales are lower than you'll find on any major selling platform. And if you are a seller or thinking about becoming a stamp dealer, right now I can offer you, through the courtesy of HipStamp, a free trial store subscription of any level for 60 days. You can find a link to the offer in the description below. Go ahead and click on through, and when you're done with that, head on over to the HipStamp forum and look me up and say hi. And now I'd also like to welcome a new sponsor to this program, and that is the Internet Philatelic Dealers Association, or IPDA. Now, the IPDA are a group of dealers across 23 countries around the world who are committed to making the Internet a safer and more secure place to buy stamps for collectors. IPDA dealers all pledge to follow a code of ethics and to display honesty and integrity in their listings and in their dealings with customers. When you deal with an IPDA member, you can be assured of honest, accurate descriptions, and if you ever have any questions about your order, an IPDA dealer will help you in a courteous and professional manner. If you're a stamp dealer of any size, I encourage you to click on the link below, go visit the website, and download and fill out an application. What I want to say is the nice thing about ordering from Swan is that he has a mailer's postmark permit, which means he has his own hand canceller that he can use. And what he does is, if the order warrants, which this one didn't, if it's a larger order, say over a pound or how much, he'll use the whole sheet of like say the Batman sheet or the American Scientist sheet or whatever's current. He stamps them, he cancels them, and then puts a protective plastic coating over them before he mails it. And you wind up with a nice postally used full miniature sheet. And now this one is a smaller order, which didn't warrant that much postage, but what I got was this $7.95 priority mail stamp that's been cut from the sheet. It hasn't been focus. There we go. It hasn't been peeled off of the sheet and stuck onto the package. It's been cut off and attached under a protective layer. And let me see if I can peel this away. And there we have it, a nice postally used copy of this stamp. All right, now we can rip into this and see what we got. We got 1, 2, and 3 4-ounce mixtures. Like I said, that 1-pound mixtures I got before were just too many. It wouldn't be too many if they were all different, but you wind up with a ton of duplication when you buy 1 pound. I ended up with maybe like 20 different stamps. Nah, it was a little more than that, but it seemed like about 20 and about 8,000 duplicates. So what are you going to do with all those? So I figure 4 ounces will be a little more manageable. I'll still end up with a lot of duplicates, but I'll give some away, sell some, who knows. Wait for trick or treat on Halloween night. And, so let's see, what do we have here? Okay, I'm going to save 2 of them for later. I can only do 1 at a time. And you'll find out what these are in time. Patience, grasshopper. The first one, though, is Botswana, a 4-ounce mixture. Now, Botswana, as you are probably aware, is the former British colony of Bechuanaland Protectorate. It gained its independence from Britain in 1966, and at that time, in 1966, Botswana was one of the poorest nations in the world. Since that time, it's turned completely around. The economy has boomed, and there's been vast improvements in infrastructure, employment, income, life expectancy, to where now, today, Botswana has the highest ranking of any sub-Saharan African country on the Human Development Index. Only the 2 island nations of Seychelles and Mauritius, along with the 2 North African countries of Algeria and Tunisia, have a higher ranking. Another interesting fact about the country is that 70% of the land area of Botswana is taken up by the Kalahari Desert. That also helps explain why Botswana is one of the least densely populated countries in the world, at only 4 people per square kilometer. Now, looking through a stamp catalog at the stamps of Botswana, you'll notice that there are very few pictures of famous people, such as politicians or celebrities, especially foreign celebrities like, Michael Jackson, movie stars that you see in many other African countries. Most of the subject matter on Botswana stamps are art, cultural traditions, sports, and of course the flora and fauna. This all makes Botswana an intriguing country for me to collect, and that's why I was prompted to order this mixture from Swan. Now, the first thing I noticed when I looked at the price list, and this price list here is available on the net at www.swanstamps.com. It's this exact price list in PDF form, which you can download, print out, and read at your leisure. As you heard me mention earlier, I had 1-pound mixtures of Germany and Ireland, for which I paid, I think, $35 each. Here, a 4-ounce mixture, or 113 grams, if your mind thinks that way, was $40. And the description in the price list says, a nice mix of only beautiful large stamps to 2015, with values to P540. Scarce. So, are you as intrigued as I am about seeing what we have? Let's get started then. We'll begin by weighing them. First, I need to apologize for the next section. it seems I'm recording this actually several days after what you're going to see next, because as I was editing the video, it seems that while these next few clips had or showed the audio waveform in the editor, there was actually no sound, and I have no idea what happened. And I would have reshot that whole section, except, as they say, you can't push the toothpaste back into the tube. I can't go back and unsoak the stamps and start from that point again. So instead, I left the video in, and I'm just going to overdub my voice as best I can. Thanks for understanding. The first thing we'll do is weigh the stamps and see how close we came to the promised 4 ounces. We'll zero it out and we get 4 ounces exactly. But that also includes this fairly hefty Ziploc bag. I'll weigh it separately, and it comes to 0.2 ounces. So we wound up with a net 3.8 ounces. Let me set them up here and let's see what it all looks like. Let's spread them all out here and get a good look. It looks to be a fairly diverse mix. No particular stamp stands out as having quite a lot of duplicates. There do appear to be quite a few that belong to the same series. And it looks to be mainly like stamps from the 80s and 90s, judging by the designs. Next thing is to count them and see how many we get in that 3.8 ounces. So we wound up with 459 stamps. Now you know what comes next, right? Soaking. All right, here's my soaking bowl. Got some lukewarm water with a little bit of dishwashing detergent. Clean up the stamps a little as they soak. Now, while that's soaking, I'll go back and start on part 2 of this unboxing. All right then, while part 2 is soaking, I'll finish up part 1 now. I've already soaked the Botswana, and actually I've already dried them off and sorted them and cataloged them, and I'll show you the results now. I've got them all sorted by year and catalog number. The earliest stamp was 67, which is just about as early as they come. As I said, they got their independence in 1966. So then we had a couple of 74s, 78, and then we jump up to 1982, a long definitive set for birds. Then get that reflection out of there, 1984. 1985, 1987. Sorry about all that reflection. Let's see if I can get my hand to block it. Okay, there's 88. There's the most expensive catalog value stamp, that WWF number 435 catalogs at $12.50. Oh, there we go. Moving on up to 91. And 1992. This one here, another definitive series. This is the second most duplicated stamp with 29 copies. And the next stamp in that series is the most duplicated stamp in the set with 70 copies. Up to 1993, now 1994. And then they start really thinning out, just a few 1995s and 96, 97, 99. And we even get some fairly recent ones from the 21st century, from 2002, 2005, 2006, 2007, 2011, a couple from 2012, and then from this Long Bird series in 2014, we got three different birds and the lions of the Chobe. Nice stamp there. So, crunching the numbers some more, out of the original 459 stamps in the mixture, 28 of them were either destroyed by me during the soaking and drying process, or they were found to be damaged after they got soaked off. A lot of them were just trimmed too close, where they got a little scissor happy, whoever clipped them from the covers. The perfs were trimmed off, and so out of the remaining 431, there were 91 different stamps, which represented 21% of the mixture. Though I haven't done any kind of real study in the matter, as I only have two previous experiences with the Germany and Ireland, but that seems like a pretty good percentage to me. There were 39 stamps with only one single copy represented, so that's not bad. And there were 34 stamps, or 35 catalog numbers, that had between 2 and 5 copies of that stamp. The most, as I already told you, was 70 copies of one stamp. Then there was 29 copies of another and 21 of yet another. And then after that it dropped down to between 2 and say 11 to 13 copies. The total catalog value of the 4-ounce mixture came to $392.35. So my total cost for the mixture, including the postage, was $43.11. So that price represents just under 11% of catalog value. And then I also checked HipStamp for the lowest price I could find on each of these stamps, and I found listings for 61 of them, and 30 of them there were no listings for. But for the 61, for one copy each, the selling price came to $19.77. Catalog value for those 61 was $55.95, so the average retail price was about 35% of catalog. Now for the 30 stamps that I could not find no listings for, their catalog values were $53.15. Taking that same 35% average catalog value for the retail value, they would have cost you $18.95. So that $18.95 plus $19.77 for the ones that I did find listings for, that's $37, $38, $39, not to mention the how many shipping costs you would have had to pay from several different dealers, it would have cost you at least $43 or more to buy those 91 stamps. So that still leaves you 340 stamps for selling or trading with over $100 retail value among them. So all told, I think you came up with a pretty good value in this mixture. Now I know I just threw a whole lot of numbers at you that's just, swimming around in your head and don't mean much. So just bottom line was there were 91 different stamps that you could put in your into your album if you don't have them already. That would have cost you more than the $43 that this whole mixture cost. And that left you with 340 more stamps for selling or trading with over $100 retail value. So the bottom line is I am pleased with this mixture, and if Botswana is an area that interests you, I can recommend this mixture for purchase. Once again, the name of the dealer is Swan Philatelic Imports. Their website is www.swanstamps.com, and I have put the link in the description below. So that just about does it for this episode. I want to thank HipStamp, the stamp marketplace, once again for sponsoring this episode, and I'll hope you'll check them out. Go through the link below, or better yet, click on this card right up here. And I also want to thank the IPDA, the Internet Philatelic Dealers Association, for their sponsorship. Be sure to check out their website by clicking on the link in the description below. So stick around and I'll give you a little slideshow of some of the highlights in this mixture. And until next time, this is Ted the Talking Stamp Collector wishing you all happy stamping.